Hello guys, welcome back to another video in our channel, and today we are going to talk about Chelsea's new signing, Joao Pedro, a very familiar face in the Premier League and a player who has been signed for £55 million with a 5 million added add-ons, and a player who's flying to the United States to join Chelsea in the FIFA Club World Cup. So why have Chelsea signed Joao Pedro, and what will Joao Pedro bring to Chelsea? Now, he's 23 years old from Brighton. He has Premier League experience, and in my opinion, he is one of the signings that I really anticipated will come to Chelsea. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm excited about this signing and how it will help Maresca. If you're new in this channel, do not forget to like this video, share it with other people, and subscribe to this channel. Now, Pep and Enzo Maresca have been trying to introduce a new tactical phenomenon. I know a lot of people in the comment section have told me time and time again, Tyrone, no, Unai Emery uses that tactic, De Zerbi uses that tactic, and I've retained my position that no, they don't. And I'm going to do a video on that. So that video is coming. There's a lot of videos that are just coming up. But this tactic will make Joao Pedro fit into Chelsea like a glove. Now, Maresca's system has always been a 4-2-3-1 system. But this 4-2-3-1 system is just a system on paper. It's just the way you arrange your lineups. Because Chelsea have two systems. The in-possession system that involves wide wingers, two twin tens, and an attacking striker. And a rest defense that consists of an inverted fullback in the back line and in midfield. And this system is something that we even saw Chelsea use against Benfica, in that Chelsea were actually rotating between this system and the system that Enzo Maresca is going to attempt to use dominantly next season. So, how is Maresca's new system going to actually influence the position of Joao Pedro, and how will it actually make Chelsea so strong? That is what we want to look at, and that is what we want to analyze. Now, let us analyze this. Now, Chelsea's new system is going to actually be quite dynamic. Chelsea are in a 4-2-3-1 structure, and Noni Madueke was preferred as the left winger. We saw a slight change in the recent game where Noni Madueke was actually left out and Palma was moved down the left and Romeo Lavia came in. And this is because Maresca really fancies Lavia and Caicedo. And this is making Chelsea to move into what we call a 4-2-2-2 structure, a two-striker system. And in this system, Chelsea are looking to overload the midfield with as many as 6 players. Now you can see this from Manchester City. They have the usual box, but now they have a 2v2 situation at the back, and their fullbacks. Look at the position of their fullbacks. None of them is actually inverting in midfield. Now, this system that Chelsea actually used against Flamengo was quite interesting, because even Maresca said that they were attempting a new system. Now, this system is so different from the likes of De Zerbi and Unai, because in this system, Chelsea do not have wingers at all. Chelsea have inside forwards and 2 strikers. The width entirely is being generated by the 2 fullbacks. And because the width is being generated by the 2 fullbacks, Chelsea are looking to try and overload the midfield. Now, Joao Pedro can come in to play in that inside left channel. But that will mean Cole Palmer will have to drop, or Fernandes. But no, Joao Pedro might actually be deployed as a second striker. Now, we saw this in Manchester City's game when Guardiola decided to use Marmoush and Haaland in the same team. Remember, both of them are strikers. And if this system Guardiola used it with Haaland and Alvarez, Manchester City would have really just evolved into a new team. And we are seeing Guardiola looking to implement this system. Players such as Jeremy Doku and Savinho or Cherki are actually coming into play in those inside forward positions, making Manchester City to have a lot of players through the middle, but a lot of spaces in the wide areas. And how is this actually happening? Manchester City and Maresca's system, their main aim is to have those forwards, the two number nines, in a 1v1 situations with their center backs. And this is where Joao Pedro comes in. Joao Pedro is so important in this system in that he can actually occupy the space between the left back, the right back, and the right center back. And because Chelsea are looking to adapt into this system, like we saw in the last game when Cucurella was generating the width, while Cole Palmer was playing in that left half space position. Now, Joao Pedro will give Chelsea strength, physicality, and attacking threat in this position. A player who's able to use his stronger right foot to actually attempt shots on goal and create a lot of problems for the opponents. And this is something that Chelsea really need in the attacking setup. Now, let's proceed on to the other thing. Because of Chelsea's overload in midfield, this is going to push the opposition's fullbacks to cover the inside forwards, creating this man-to-man situation that you're seeing at the backline, where the two strikers, Joao Pedro and Delap, will actually be in a 1v1 situation with their centre-backs, and this is what Maresca wants. Because Maresca is going to try and isolate his strikers in this scenario, Chelsea are going to have a deadly attack when it comes to going direct. Something that we saw Pep Guardiola is actually implementing at Manchester City. The main aim is to have these 2v2 situations in attack. And because a lot of teams will find it troubling trying to defend this, Chelsea will most likely have a lot of threat. And by the time teams try to drop one defender to counter this scenario, then Chelsea will have the much needed stability, the much needed numbers to actually defend in midfield. But what do the stats say about Joao Pedro? What do the stats actually say about his quality overall? Because that is the next step when you're actually doing an in-depth analysis of a player. Now, the stats are very unique. He's a right-footed player. He's tall enough. He's 6 foot. And then he's a player who can play either as a right wing or a left winger or an attacking midfielder, meaning that he operates down the left half space position. Now, let's look at his attacking and defensive stats. Now, when you look at his attacking stats, look at his progressive passes. Look at his non-penalty goals. Look at his non-penalty shots. Look at his passing rate. This is a player who's so good in carrying the ball. He's so smart when it comes to actually the final ball. He's very good in the air also, and he's very good defensively. Look at the number of interceptions and tackles. That means this is a striker who works a lot when the team does not have the ball, and that is something that is so key to Enzo Maresca. Now, him is a very unique striker because of his physicality, because of his blistering pace, because of his dribbling, especially his dribbling. Joao Pedro is that player who likes to dribble a lot. His finishing in front of goal is also quite unique. He's one of the best. He's one of the players who I really fancy their finishing. You know, unlike Jackson, who will miss some chances and you're scared, there's some chances when you lay them down for Joao Pedro, he automatically scores them. The way he attacks the far post, his heading is way better than that of Jackson. But look at how he's playing. He likes to attack that space behind the opposition's defense line. Position where I've explained to you in that Maresca system will be so important. He's so aggressive inside the box, and one thing I like about him is the way he likes to carry the ball and make runs. And once he makes runs, you just know that he's about to score a goal. And because of this system, you automatically know that players like Palmer are going to thrive because they are going to be the players who are playing these passes to Joao Pedro. And Joao Pedro now can play the game the way he likes it. That is, receiving the ball ahead of him and actually finding himself in positions where he's able to attack. Joao Pedro is not just an attacking player. He's also quite creative. He knows when to flick the ball. He knows the skills where he's able to bring his other teammates into the team, and he's also very strong in receiving the ball under pressure, using his trickery and his ability to dribble to take on his player and actually look to help the team move high up the pitch. And because Chelsea are having young players, Chelsea are having hungry players, Joao Pedro's ability to shoot the ball is also quite remarkable. I think when it comes to Chelsea, he's probably maybe second to Delap or even above Delap when it comes to shooting. He's so good. He's so good in 1v1 situations. Let me not talk about his penalty. Wow, we have a player who is also very good at penalties. And remember, Chelsea's players who are so good at penalties is Liam Delap and Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer in particular. But what about those games where you actually have to win them by penalties? And you have Joao Pedro. Then you have Delap. Then it means you have many players in the team who are good on taking penalties. What about his link-up play? Joao Pedro is so good when it comes to linking up play. And you can automatically notice that. And one thing I like about him is how he likes to attack the far post. Remember what I said. In a true striker system, we might have wingers who are looking to cross the ball inside, especially towards the far post area. And he will be so crucial in these kinds of scenarios. He also likes to cross the ball from the left. He's so dynamic in these kinds of zones, and he's looking to actually give the team something much more interesting in this case. His long range shot is also quite good. I like the way he attempts long range shots. This is something that we have not seen in a while. Palmer used to do them, but because of his confidence, that thing has really gone down. But now there is a lot of, he has that confidence in actually attempting those shots. But the penalties, they're just superb. The penalties are just out of this world. And if you have a player who's very confident in this kinds of situation, then you know that even when Palmer is probably not playing in that game, then you have a player who's able to come in and actually do the job. Just like any other player, Joao Pedro also has his faults. And one of his faults that I've tried to see is probably, I've not seen, sometimes he can be bullied off the ball. Sometimes because again he's a young player and he's facing strong dominant English centre backs, and also he struggled a bit with a lot of injury, so his game time also need to be managed. But I've seen that under Enzo Maresca, Chelsea's injuries are actually being managed. There's a way that Maresca is setting up the team to keep the ball to be in close proximity, that is reducing the number of distance that the team has to cover through pressing, and that has improved Reece James and Romeo Lavia's overall injury records. Like so far, Lavia is playing 3 games and he's not injured. Reece James has been playing, he's not gotten injured. So Pedro Neto, another player who suffered with the injuries at Wolverhampton, is also playing quite well. So the minutes have to be managed. And my opinion about this signing is that it's a definitely, we needed this signing, and this signing is so good for Chelsea because now Chelsea can actually compete in both competitions. They can compete in the Premier League, they can compete in the Champions League, because Chelsea playing the Champions League, you cannot field the Conference League team in the Champions League. That is my opinion about Joao Pedro. I'm going to do what is Chelsea's expected lineup next season in the future. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.